Welcome back to Studio 701. From Medora to Fargo, everything in between. There is a lot to see in our great state.
And some talented people behind the lens help capture some of that beauty. So 701 on Film is sponsored by Desiree's Makeup and Beauty Lounge. This month we're featuring photos taken by Dr. Stephen McDonough. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Dr. McDonough, a lot of people may know you from being a pediatrician, and you retired after 40 years of that, so congratulations.
Thank you.
What got you into photography? Were you always into it, or is it something you started after retirement?
No, I've been into it for quite a while. Most of it was family photography, you know, taking care of kids and 3 children and photographing them and my wife and family growing up. And when the kids graduated and went off to college, then I always had a love of animals, so decided to get involved with nature photography then and share my love of animals with children.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at these photos, and I noticed a theme on the 5 photos you chose for us to feature this week. They are all families. Mm-hmm. Animal families.
Right.
So what is your message there of why you want to connect children with photography and wildlife?
Well, it's very important to connect children with nature. They're our future, our children. A lot of animals aren't doing well with climate change, and in order to preserve habitat, it's really important that I share love of animals with children. Children love animals as well. I go into some of the 3rd grade schools, Highland Acres and Roosevelt and Bismarck, for the last 7 years, and given talks about animals throughout the world. I've done some children's books. I have a website called Dakota Reflections, and it's all geared toward educating young people about the different animals we have in North Dakota, the importance of a habitat for them, and then animals across the world, particularly endangered animals.
I see. And that's Dakota Reflections, the website?
Yes.
Okay. And you have 7 self-published books. Are you actually retired, or are you just
right?
You know,
I'll try
are
to
you
keep
as busy as ever?
I try to keep busy. Yeah. I try to keep. I have 2 dogs. I walk multiple times a day. So yeah, I keep very busy. I look forward to giving talks to the 3rd graders every year. I try to improve the photographs I give so the teachers don't see the same photographs every year.
Okay.
And yeah, so I have a number. I'm going to try to do some more children's books this year. So yeah, I try to keep busy. I think it's important when you're retired to have things you're passionate about to help enjoy life.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at these photos once again, because I noticed these are not in North Dakota, by the way.
Well,
so where have you all
the
been?
foxes are. So.
Oh,
yeah.
the foxes are. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Where were you when you took all of these photos?
Well, the foxes are right from Bismarck, and they're siblings. 3 of the photos I chose are siblings. The jaguars were from Brazil. The Asian elephants were from India. The cheetahs were from Tanzania. And my favorite photograph is the polar bear mom and the baby in front of the den, the snow den where the babies were born. And that was a very emotional photograph for me to take. And I like to talk about how dedicated the animals' parents are, particularly the moms, and how hard they work for their babies. And that just resonates when I talk to children, because they know how hard their parents work for them, and they know how important their family is, and they can relate to how the animals take care of themselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful message, and definitely ties into, I think, your experience as a pediatrician as well.
Yeah, yep.
With that polar bear photo, where were you? Like, I'm just wishing there was a lens pointed at you so I could see what you look like.
Well, I was very clothed up. There was no exposed skin. It was 40 below for 6.5 hours outside and 40 below wind chill. And I had a big lens, so I was about 40 yards away. So the polar bears were not bothered. It's important ethically when you're photographing animals, you don't disturb the animals. So I have a camera lens that allow me to watch the animal, get decent photographs, but not bother them.
Wow.
Wow.
And, you know, what's your favorite part about sharing these stories with especially elementary kids here in our area?
Oh, it's going into the schools,
yeah.
No question. And the questions they ask, and they'll share stories about their pets and animal experiences when they've been out to Theodore Roosevelt National Park, for example. So that's a highlight for me every year, is to go into the schools and to share a love of animals and to talk about different places that I've been and different things I've learned by watching animals. Yeah, that's a highlight every year is in the schools.
Wow, well that's incredible. And really quickly, Dr. McDonough, you have a book here in front of you. Is this one of yours?
Yeah, it's one of my, I've done 7 children's books. Most of them are in North Dakota, but I did go to China a few years ago and was able to photograph baby pandas. And this is a book about baby pandas helping each other, learning to climb a tree. So each of the books has a theme, and it's usually siblings helping each other and their relationship with their parents. Some of them are about parents, birds, mountain bluebirds, American kestrels feeding their babies and stuff like that. So it's animals, but you know, a lot of cultures, when they tell stories about to children to educate them about how they're supposed to act in society and in families, they often use animals in part of their stories, and that's what I try to do. Is when I talk about animals and is to convey messages that the kids can relate to and help guide them to be good citizens and good siblings and good sons and daughters.
I think it's a wonderful message, and you could teach us a lot about a lot. So thank you for sharing all of this with us. I can't wait to read this. Teaching a baby panda to climb a tree with your siblings. So cute. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
All right, this has been 701 on Film, which is sponsored by Desiree's Makeup and Beauty Lounge. And for more information on Dr. Stephen McDonough or his educational presentations or photography, go to dakotareflections.com.
All right, keep it here because